So going into this video, we're going to dive into setting up your views for ads management. There's so many different things and so many different ways you could look at it. And probably everyone's going to have a little bit of a different way of doing this. However, I want to go through and show you the process I've used and I set up for every single ad account that comes through to my team and to myself to ensure that we're always looking at everything the same way so we can just do a better job of managing every campaign, every ad set, and every set of ads that we're running. So what is this? We basically are going to have two core views we're going to use for any ads management. One of them is going to be a campaign and ad group level view, and another one's going to be a creative optimization level view. So what is it? Quite simply, creative and optimization level view is going to help us understand how our ads are doing. So once we've already narrowed down into an ad group, or we want to look at like a broad campaign and like how are each thing's running, we use this campaign view or this creative optimization view to simply go, does this ad need to be turned on or turned off or paused? Do I need to change it out? Like what are those things running like, right? So starting from the bottom up, we're going to use the creative optimization view and go through and actually set this up for us. So we're going to go through here, and I have already dropped this down below in the video, but I'm going to go through and just sort of walk through each of these step by step. As a reminder, doing this is actually very simple, but the only thing I want to make sure you know is that you don't want to actually have these things clicked, right? Because whenever you get these added in here, all of these are selected. And if you just leave them all selected as they were, when you hit apply, you're going to have a bunch of these other weird metrics that you don't need. It's just going to clutter what you're looking at. So you want to make sure that you don't have these other pieces running. You just want the high level number here, especially if any of you guys run like Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, blah, 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 right? You don't really need to have all of these sub actions because you're not looking at apps and all that stuff. So what's the flow? Well, we need the campaign. You can also go through and actually add the ad set itself into this, right? So we'll go through campaign, ad set, just to make sure it's on, right? You want to make sure you're looking at the right ad set. I like to do budget, amount spent next to each other so that way you know how much you're planning on spending, how much you've actually spent, and the actual amount of revenue generated. So out of the gate, we want to do a very simple, quick and dirty review of what's the results, and then we can narrow down from there, right? Make our life easy. Why sit there and scroll left and right through 100 different metrics if we don't need them? Because you can just look at the first few to get ourselves started. So make sure we look at the right name, make sure we have the right budget, make sure the amount spent is accurate for the time frame, purchase conversion value. Did we make anything? Great, yes or no. Compare it to the amount that we've spent. What does that result in? Return on ad spend, right? ROAS, the thing everyone always sells themselves on, right? From there, we have the metrics that we talked about previously in the other video, which is going to be stop rate. And I also like to add in average video play time just to help play into both of these, right? Also, if there's not a video in a campaign, these aren't going to have anything. But if there are videos in the campaign, you'll at least have both of these here to help make those informed decisions. From there, I like to go through and do the other key metrics. So before we actually go into the actual numbers of how much we're getting in front of or how many people we're getting in front of, we just want to see like what's our click-through rate, what's our link click-through rate all the way through. Again, look at the high-level metrics really, really quickly before we start doing the deeper dive. Now, the deeper dive as we go through is going to be reach, then to impressions, clicks, and link clicks. So we want to do clicks all and then also into link clicks because these are two different actions. One is all possible clicks that could happen on the ad. The other one is going to be the specific clicks towards our objective, right? From there, depending on your business, maybe we add in landing page views as a secondary measure. For this, we can just do link clicks. Then we go to add to cart, checkouts initiated, purchases, and then we can go through and get the second layer of detail, right? At this point, you're really doing this just to make sure things are looking like it's in the right direction. These are additional metrics. They aren't always needed depending on what you're doing because you have all of these other ones here, right? So there are assistive metrics to help you identify what's doing better or worse when looking at the full picture. So we got purchases, cost per purchase, add to cart rate. And then we could actually drop in the initiate checkout rate here, conversion rate, and then average order value. I like to do average order value at times as well in here because we have that cost per purchase. Maybe a campaign is showing that we're getting a cost per purchase that actually matches our website's average cost per purchase. So if we sell a $40 product on average, but the cost per purchase is also $40, but for some reason our average order value in this specific ad is actually $80, then we want to make sure that we can keep an eye on that and see what's going on, or see why people are buying multiple products or more products after coming from this ad, right? So it's helpful because I have seen that average order value ended up being roughly the same, which made our ROAS look about the same across other campaign or other ads, but the ROAS ended up being, roughly the same, but we made more money. So anyways, hope this helps. These are the starting metrics for this one, right? Keep this and make sure that you just go and check out what I've dropped below. You'll actually get every single one of these that you can use. So once you're done, you've created your custom view. You'll have that section. You can hit save. Essentially, you just go back here, customize columns. You can say save as column preset, and it'll save these so that you can use them anytime you're going through. Second one's going to be the campaign and ad group level or ad set level, however you want to name it. And this is going to be used for getting that broader view of everything that's going on and trying to get a quick view of how things are running as a whole. So instead of looking at the other performance metrics, I actually like to look at the whole ecosystem, the whole flow, the whole funnel all the way across the board before I start diving in. And this really helps me to just walk through. I'm like, okay, what's actually driving the most ads to cart, right? And maybe I want to see that so that way I can see, oh, okay, well, what's the cost per purchase? And maybe I want to start diving into these a little bit more. From here, right, the general flow is going to be campaign or ad set name. And we're going to go through reach, then impressions, clicks, link clicks, the landing page views. I always make sure that that's here at this level. The other one, again, it's not like it's not important, but you can actually usually get rid of it by just narrowing in and just trying to rid yourself of having to look at a secondary metric, right? From here, we'll obviously do adds to cart, checkouts initiated, purchases, cost per purchase. Then, similar to what we did in the creative campaign view, is we're now going to dive into these other metrics. So now we're looking at that cost per purchase, budget, the amount spent, the amount that we made, what's the return on ad spend, right? And then we can go through and look at all of these additional metrics. Now, for most of you, you probably won't even have to look this far, but if you're trying to if you're spending a lot of money and you're trying to resolve or identify what is happening, like why am I getting a good or a bad result from this campaign? Well, these can help you get an idea. So like this one right here, 10x frequency. It has a lowish ROI, but we've made a decent amount of cash from it, right? And so we want to go, maybe the frequency is too high, right? And let's then go in and diagnose what's going on and help understand which of our campaigns is really fluctuating us one way or another, right? And so then once we make those decisions, we can go through and help the next stage of optimization, which is then going into the creatives themselves, right? If we went into these, we're like, oh, here they are, which creatives are doing what is performing in what way, right? If we wanted to look at like highest to lowest or lowest to highest, what have we spent, what's the ROAS, etc., right? So these are the views. These are what I would use, literally just these two. And then once you start trying to get extra fancy when you're spending, really anything above $3,000-$5,000 a day, you can start changing around your other time variations. But we'll talk about that in another video. For now, regardless of the amount that you're spending, definitely try just these two views out, and you can basically ignore everything else when you're getting started. And these will help you to simplify your management and just sort of walk through everything, because you'll know when you're going to turn something on or turn something off, duplicate it, change it, that you're using the right data to make that decision.